What would happen if you launched a nuclear submarine into space? It sounds like science fiction, but let's say somehow a 16,000-ton war machine ends up in low Earth orbit. How long would it survive? Could the crew make it? You might think submarines are built tough. After all, they can handle the crushing pressure of the deep ocean. And that's true. A modern sub's hull can resist 50-80 times the pressure at sea level. So holding in 1 atmosphere of breathable air in the vacuum of space? Not a problem. In fact, the seals are tight enough that air wouldn't escape quickly. Submarines are practically space capsules, until you realize what they don't have. Let's talk life support. CO2? No issue. Subs use scrubbing systems that recycle the air for months. Oxygen? Now we have a problem. Submarines create oxygen from seawater using electrolysis. And up in orbit, there is no water. The crew would have to rely on whatever oxygen is in storage, maybe enough for a few days. After that, they suffocate. But that's not even the worst problem. Here's where things really heat up, literally. Space doesn't feel hot, but it's a thermal death trap. Without air or water to carry heat away, the only way for a submarine to cool off is via radiation. And that's glacially slow. Meanwhile, the nuclear reactor inside? It's pumping out up to 200 megawatts of power. Let's say half of that becomes waste heat, 100 megawatts with nowhere to go. On Earth, that heat is dumped into seawater. In orbit, it stays. Every minute, the sub heats up by about half a degree Celsius. In less than an hour, it's an oven. If the crew doesn't cook alive, the reactor might melt down first. Could the submarine return to Earth? Not easily. It's in orbit, and there are no engines on board. But what if we got creative? Ohio-class submarines carry 24 Trident missiles. If you reverse engineer them and fire them backward, you could reduce the sub's speed by just enough to trigger a re-entry. Barely. Unfortunately, that's where the good news ends. The sub would enter the atmosphere like a tumbling brick. No heat shield. No aerodynamics. No control. It would break apart and rain debris across the planet. And even if you, the captain, somehow rode the wreckage down and survived the impact, you'd still have to jump out with a parachute before slamming into the ground. Before you do any of this, disable the nuclear warheads. Please. And hey, if your brain just melted from imagining a submarine melting down in space, do me a favor. Smash that like button to cool it off. Subscribe for more insane science hypotheticals that bend reality. And drop a question in the comments. Who knows, your wild idea might be the next video. Because here on this channel, we don't just answer questions. We launch them into orbit.